Welcome to Toni Unleashed, the podcast where we unleash the truth about all things pets.
Our research and anecdotal evidence matched with pet expert interviews will help you help your pet thrive.
We are here to answer questions, divulge information, and spread awareness about what's really going on in the world of pets.
I am your co-host, Emily Taylor, pet nutrition enthusiast.
And I'm Toni Shalasky, owner of Healthy Pet Products with 3 locations in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area, and recently expanded to Port Charlotte, Florida. Welcome to the show. Hi, everybody. So I have to give a shout out to Tim Ferriss because he's one of the first podcast people I started listening to, but he does a periodic random show, he calls it. And sorry, Tim, but I'm copying you. And Em and I are going to periodically have a random show. And the random show, I think, primarily is going to be about specific cases that we are assisting customers through. So I had a couple conversations with customers today that I thought it would be a good opportunity to talk about. And I had a woman come in today. She's been a customer for 5 years, and she has been feeding raw food. They have a 5-year-old like Cavachon. So that's like Cavalier King Charles and Bichon blend mix, whatever. And they absolutely adore this dog. Dog has been thriving on raw food for 5 years. And all of a sudden, diarrhea, throwing up bile, digestive upset. She's like, we can't think of any reason for it happening. They went to the vet. The vet prescribed antibiotics, did a stool sample. The stool sample came back normal, did anti-nausea meds. Dog's been eating chicken and rice for a couple of weeks now. And throughout these past 5 years, they have only been feeding Primal pet food, which is a good brand. I'm not saying anything negative at all. And they rotate proteins. But, you know, they just had this episode happen and they're like, basically, what the fuck?
And what protein was it on? Were they on that caused the, or not triggered, but when they started having these issues?
I don't know. Damn.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
yeah, could have been any of them.
She started to, you know, the dog became stable on the chicken and rice. Antibiotics ended, anti-nausea meds ended, and then she started to slowly incorporate the Primal back in. Mm-hmm. You know, half a nugget at a time because it's a smaller dog, 25 pounds, I think she told me. And every time she would try to start incorporating it back to Primal, the dog would get sick again. Bloody diarrhea. And she said it was a lot of blood.
Really?
Yeah. And so today she comes in, she tells me this whole story. And she's like, I'm afraid to go back to raw food. And I'm like, okay. I said, we don't have to go back to raw food.
Did you put her on raised, right?
I didn't, because the dog's only 5.
Yeah.
She went with Stella's. She had been incorporating some of Stella's freeze dried. Okay. But I gave her, basically, she left the store with a script. You know, I've always joked over the years that I want to develop a prescription pad.
Yeah.
That tells customers, because we go through so much. They're right. Like, okay, wait a minute. I have to write this down. Wait, what do I do? Wait, how much?
Yeah.
Wait. So I wrote this all up for her. And basically, because of the antibiotics, I'm like, okay, your first step, and I'm literally going to read down this protocol that I set up for her. First step is add 1/8 of a teaspoon of Digestol Plus. They feed 3 times a day. And then wait 2 to 3 days. Step 2, they also are feeding goat's milk. So step 2, add 2 tablespoons of bone broth to each meal.
And their meal, though, is still chicken and rice.
Still chicken. We're still on chicken and rice. Okay. I told her, let's not change the food yet. She wanted to leave with food today, though.
Okay.
And since it's frozen, I'm like, that's fine. You can, go with a small bag of Stella's. So step 3, add, because the dog was throwing up bile. And folks, the bile, when a dog throws up bile, or cat even, it indicates that the liver is under stress. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with the liver. It's just stressed. So milk thistle can help rejuvenate the liver. So she's going to add a 0.5 millimeter of milk thistle to breakfast and dinner for a week, then reduce to 1/4 milliliter. And then as step 4, and these increments, I just said 2 to 3 days. Step 4, start transitioning to Stella's raw food. And then I gave her my business card and I said, if you need anything, just reach out to me via email. It's the best way to get in touch with me. I mean, I'm hopeful that this protocol will get the dog back onto a raw food diet.
Yeah.
But, she was just like, so then she starts talking to me about, I had to change vets a couple years ago because every time I went to the vet and they asked me what I fed and I told them raw food, they would give me these articles about how bad raw food was. And I was like, she would say to the vet, she's like, but look at my dog. My dog is doing great.
Right.
My dog's weight is perfect. The teeth are clean. Why? And she said to me, she's like, why do they not like this raw food? And I said, that's a complicated answer, but ultimately I truly believe that they don't like the raw food because they don't think we're going to need them anymore because it creates a healthier animal. And I almost feel like they're truly brainwashed.
Yeah.
Into thinking that the prescription foods are the end all be all.
Yeah. Well, and I think also though, I mean, this is like really way off topic and like taking a different rabbit hole down, but I think some dogs are just starting to are genetically bred to only be able to tolerate shitty food.
Yeah.
I mean, because raw food, new brands, I mean, it is crazy how many new raw food companies, how many raw feed influencers on social media there are, how many less processed dog foods there are coming onto the market left and right. I mean,
and
even gently cooked.
Yeah, the mail order ones, there's tons.
Farmer's dog, all of that.
Yeah. So people are seeking alternatives, and I think we just need to say that.
Yeah.
And I'm asked that question every day. Why don't vets like raw food?
Yeah.
And ultimately, again, I have to say question everything. And it's a choice. And we have the right to choose in this country. And that pet is in your care.
Right.
And you're your pet's advocate.
And you know your pet best.
And you know your pet best. And you have to follow your gut. And we have to be there for our pets.
And now more than ever, I mean, I think it can go the other way also because I think potentially what we could see is we've already seen these pets, these dogs, these cats become family, become children to human beings. And it's pushing people to advocate for their pets at the vet. So our vets and that their schooling might evolve to match the level of questions that we're presenting and that we're pushing for.
Yes. And this woman literally said to me, she's like, this is ridiculous. She's like, we love this dog so much. It's literally our 3rd child. And when we travel, my mother, even if we go out to dinner, we have my mom come over and sit with the dog so she's not alone. And I'm painting the basement, and every time I move my ladder, my dog moves with me and my ladder.
Yeah.
And she's like, we're pathetic. And I'm like, you're really not. You're pretty normal here. I mean, that's pretty much the standard.
Yeah.
So we have to fight.
Right.
And I told her today, I said, my last dying breath will be about pet food.
Yeah.
And the importance of educating yourself and knowing what's really in it and being in tune with your animals and fighting for what's right.
I mean, my dog, my sick dog, who's always been sick her entire life, has been over-vaccinated, overbred, just been fed shit, chemicals, neglected, abused. I mean, I truly don't think she would still be alive today if it wasn't for me switching her giving her a clean way of living.
Yeah.
Cutting out all vaccines. She's too old. She's too immunosuppressed. I'm sure I didn't spend the money on titers to see, but I'm sure, she's fine.
Yeah.
Getting rid of all of the injections, all of the pills, and just putting her on clean food, clean supplements, and like just boosting her immune system. And
Yeah.
she's still alive, and she's, for her breed and everything, she's doing pretty well.
She's doing very well.
Yeah, she's about like 10, 11, and for a tricolored pit bull that's been overbred.
And how big is she? Like 50 pounds?
She's like 60 pounds.
60 pounds?
Yeah.
Yeah. The first time Emily Claire came into Healthy Pet Products with Sweet Pea as a customer, you literally were knocked over by the smell.
Oh, yeah. But I couldn't smell it because I've been living with her for so long. Oh, but yeah.
The smell of Sweet Pea was horrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
The yeast, it was bad.
I mean, the yeast load has gone down significantly. It is insane. She will get into, if my husband leaves like the door open, she will get into the cat litter and eat cat shit. And, the cat's fed raw, so it's technically not terrible, but it's not the food that she's supposed to be on.
Yeah.
So she'll have a little reaction, but she gets over it.
Right.
Just like the next dog.
Right.
And she'll have a little, she'll get some redness and some yeast, but then, give it a month and she's back to normal and fine. But yeah, it's pretty wild.
So I don't remember the dog's name, but we'll maybe circle back.
Yeah.
And hopefully she will loop me in to follow up.
Yeah.
With her. Then there's another customer that's been a customer for literally like almost since day one. And the dog's name is Toby. And Toby is, probably 8 pounds. And I can't remember exactly what breed he is, but Amy is his mom. And Toby had classic IBS. Classic IBS.
Which are, for our listeners,
irritable bowel syndrome. So syndrome is very different than disease. So if it's diagnosed IBD, that means they had to take a biopsy of the colon or intestines and diagnose IBD. When it's syndrome, they're just going off of symptoms. So that's an important thing to note. So Amy, I talked to for years, and she was a Banfield customer, and Banfield is the vet within PetSmart. PetSmart?
I think so.
Yeah.
And it has its own standalone one too.
Yeah. And so when a vet is in a pet food store, it's definitely agenda written in big, bold letters. So Amy, and Amy really had a lot of respect for her vet. He was very caring and loved Toby, and she rolled through umpteen prescription diets, and she'd come in and talk to me, and she'd be like, this is this, and this isn't working, and that isn't working. And I just said, Amy, you need to switch to raw food. Amy, you need to switch to raw food. And she finally got to her wit's end with what the vets were trying on top of multiple medications.
So what were the dog's symptoms?
Explosive, just constant diarrhea.
Okay.
Diarrhea. And a little dog is pretty impactful.
Right.
So she finally took my advice, and he was a different dog like nearly overnight.
Wow.
And every time she comes in, she just is one of those that just gives me all the credit and thinks that.
What raw did you put her on?
Oh God, this is 10, 11 years ago.
Could have been anything. OC Raw, Primal.
It could have been It could have been Bravo. I had Bravo back then. It could have been Aunt Jenny's.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder. Amy might remember. I could ask Amy.
Is the dog still alive?
Oh yeah. So what's that?
What's he on now?
So he has been on Vital Essentials for quite a while, but now he's like, I think 13. Yeah. And he's had some hiccups along the way that I've helped her with, and I can circle back to this as well and just get more details. And I hooked her up with Dr. Jody in Arizona. I can't remember her last name, but she's been helping with him as well. But he recently had a pancreatitis episode. So, and Toby's always been picky, and we got him switched to Raised Right.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's so far so good. I also told her that I could get raw pancreas, but I wanted her to get that okayed through Dr. Jody, which she did.
Oh, wow.
So Dr. Jody was all for it. She's the one that does the
pigs.
Yeah.
The uterus.
The uterus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just wanted to tell you all about Toby because, there's certain customers that have been with me for so long and their pets that it's just important and it really resonates with me. And I love that
it's anecdotal evidence.
Yeah. But she over the years constantly is like, hey, this happened. What should I do? Hey, this happened. What should I do? So I guess case in point, I mean, this is basically what our random show is going to be about. Just listening to me randomly talk about people.
I loved it. I was really into it.
Customers that are near and dear to me. And then when I have success stories and when I have my shit together and I can really totally tell you the whole Toby story.
We'll be back.
We
know where the microphones are and the record button.
Yeah. So thanks for listening as always.
Yeah.
And
this was good. Let us know if you like this type of episode.
Yeah.
Just send us a comment, an email, and tell us your own success story. Yeah. We can make this a whole thing. I love it.
We can. All right.
See ya, random show.
Okay, bye.